underway here for the National Formula Ford, and the weather conditions are completely different from yesterday. The sun is shining and the track is starting to heat up. Now we've got Ross Martin leading the pack, which is the only man so far to be able to win 2 races this season. So Ross, with the weather conditions being completely different from yesterday, do you feel like you're going to have to relearn the track all over?
I mean, we had dry conditions on Friday for testing, so I feel pretty comfortable going into the race. You know, I had good dry pace, so getting off the line is going to be key. Getting a good start, good first lap obviously, but it's nice to have some blue skies. You know, I had a good night last night, chilled out. I'm feeling pretty comfortable for today, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Well, we wish you the best of luck, Ross, and hopefully a 3rd win. So, can you do it? We're going to hand it over to Scott to find out.
Thanks, Lyndsay. And as you can see, the conditions are substantially better than they were yesterday. Hopefully the racing will be even better. Ross Marston and Spike Colbeck on the front row of the grid as a virtue of their top 2 from yesterday. Then it's James Clark and Rory Smith, with David MacArthur and Jamie Thorburn on row 3, Michael McPherson, Aaron Jeanson, Morgan Quinn and Adam Quartermain completing the top 10. Neil McLennan's one to watch from 11th place on the grid, alongside Scott Huntley in 12th. Then John Svensson, Pascal Monbaron and Nicole Woods, with Tom MacArthur, Brendan Lee and Jamie Sharp all starting at the back of the grid, and also 3 drivers to see come through the order after their retirements from yesterday's first race. So, a very competitive and slightly jumbled up grid, with Ross Marston in pole position with our onboard cameras, along with McPherson, McLennan and also this man, Spike Colbecker. What does race 2 have in store? Let's find out as the lights go out and we go racing and are ready. Off the line, it seems as though Ross Martin's got the whole shot towards turn 1, covering off the outside line for Spike Colbecker in 2nd place. We're on board with Neil McLennan. He's fighting for traction on this dry track. He's behind Adam Quartermain to try and make a move early doors, which he does, storming down the outside line to take what is now 10th position. So not hanging around, already 2 corners in and up 1 place. Out of the banking, up towards Church Corner for the first time. And now the next target for Neil McLennan is going to be Aaron Jeanson, and then Morgan Quinn in front of him. Here's Neil McLennan, and that was fairly straightforward. Morgan Quinn goes wide on the exit of Church Corner and drops a place. Also Michael McPherson, the Kevin Mills Racing teammate for Neil McLennan, also goes off the line. James Clark now battling for 3rd place, just behind Rory Smith as they pile into the complex at Rocket for the first time. There with the 2 Kevin Mills cars, bit of a lock up behind, looks like, for Pascal Monbaron, who is in sandwiching between Tom MacArthur in front of him, and just ahead of him is his teammate John Svensson, the former Formula Renault Euro Cup racer, and he's in combat with the young former Ginetta Junior racer Morgan Quinn. That was a pretty straightforward move up the inside line, as a place gained there for Svensson, as one of the few clubman drivers in the field. Now, the fact we've got a bone-dry track means that instead of tippy-toeing and squirming around for traction, a completely dry circuit means these guys can really hammer hard on these Formula Fords and show exactly how quick they can go in what is still one of the most picturesque circuits in the country. Already in these first few corners, it's been a very fast and frenetic start. Out of the hairpin, down onto the second part of the International Grand Prix loop. And there, Ross Martin holds the lead. Colbecker in 2nd place, then Rory Smith 3rd, then Clark, Thorburn, David MacArthur, Aaron Jeanson has now had a good start up to around 8th position. And holding on to 9th, it seems, appears to be Neil McLennan, so up a few spots already after starting 11th. Now we see Adam Quartermain under threat from a few of the cars behind, including John Svensson. As we ride on board with James Clark now into the banking for the 2nd time. Very tight 180-degree hairpin, making a move for 5th position. That's up the inside going David MacArthur. And that was at the expense of Jamie Thorburn, who immediately tries to retaliate on the exit now through the right-hander at Church Corner. And I think MacArthur's got the pace he needs. And also, look at the back of the train. Just ahead of Neil McLennan now is Aaron Jeanson, but the pair of them are straight on the tail of this ongoing battle now for 5th position. See what McLennan can do here on the straight towards the Rocket Complex. Tries to look one way then the other, but there's no room through at this point in time. McLennan thinks, well, if you're going to hold the inside line, I'll go straight round the outside then. And through he goes. Up another place into the 2nd part of the Rocket Complex and now into 7th position. So Neil McLennan in the opening lap and a half, wasting no time whatsoever to make up what was a bit of a nosedive. And just here at the corner he's coming up to, at the corkscrew, it was contact with Rory Smith that put him down the order and saw him finishing back in 11th place, hence his starting position for this 2nd race just now. So McLennan just behind his fellow Scotsman Jamie Thorburn, who I'm sure is a little bit more focused on trying to reclaim 5th position back from David MacArthur. We'll stop McLennan having a look up the inside. And this now puts Jamie Thorburn into a little bit of a catch-22 situation. He now has to try and focus with one eye in front of him to try and attack MacArthur, but one eye behind trying to defend from Neil McLennan, who's going straight down the outside line as Thorburn has to go defensive. Almost had a sneak up the inside at MacArthur at the result of that. And now McLennan is going to try and close back in as they go through turn 1 once more. Just watching the back end of Thorburns can't wiggle around trying to find traction, and down to the banking, straight up the inside once again. Another strong move there and decisive move from Neil McClellan. He's now up to 6th position. So his next move is going to be on David MacArthur, unless Jamie Thorburn got anything to say about that, because that's the second time in that corner that Thorburn has lost a place. He won't be too pleased with himself at that one. He's going to come under threat very shortly if he's not careful from both Aaron Jeanson and just behind them, Michael McPherson. Into the ongoing fight for third as Ross Martin continues to lead, pull away from Spike Colbecker in the process. The scrap for third, maybe holding each other up. This is James Clark in the 77. Just behind him is the Stetson race winner Rory Smith. There is James, trying to redeem himself this weekend after a slightly embarrassing start to the Alton Park weekend. Took pole position, and as you saw earlier on, he didn't get as far as turn 1 because he went straight off into the tyre barrier, understeering wide, and sadly his chance of getting a victory went up in smoke and were over there and then. But a third place yesterday in race 1 certainly was a good start to the weekend. We'll be looking for another rostrum place. And now Neil McClellan also possibly thinking about a podium as he dives up the inside and makes light work of David MacArthur. And now he moves up into 5th position. Now what this is going to be crucial for is the fact that Neil McClellan has got plenty of clear air in front of him now, and provided he can shake off David MacArthur, who is coming back at him on the run towards the right left-hander at bus stop, he has a proper chance to pump in some quick laps without the deficit of any traffic or any turbulence from the cars in front, and start to charge onto the top 4 behind. And also what he might try and do is signal to Tom MacArthur behind him, or David I should say, just behind, say to him, look, rather than battle, come with me, let's see if we can try and catch the top 4 in front. But I'm not sure David MacArthur is really getting that message. He's thinking, right, is he going to try and get through? And that's Rory Smith stopping. Rory Smith is stopping on the inside, on the exit of the banking. And I hasten to say, possibly, Neil McClellan might have a wry smile underneath that helmet, because, of course, it was Rory Smith he came into contact with. We saw him drop down the order, so he might think a little bit of karma coming his way. But Rory Smith sadly out of the race in what was 4th position. He was looking on course to keep on scrapping with James Clark for 3rd. Sadly, it's dropping out of the race, and that means that the BM Racing Squad have got some work to do to get that car back in working order for race 3 later on this afternoon. Michael McPherson. He's had a pretty reserved start to the season this year, has the young Scotsman, but of course once again part of the Kevin Mills Racing outfit in one of the many spectrums they run. Of course 3 cars in the field with Neil McClellan and of course double F1 Esports champion Brendan Lee. At the moment Michael McPherson's biggest attention is focused right on the back of Aaron Jeanson, who's also having one of his best runs of the season so far, the former Team USA scholarship graduate. He is in the 2 cars running this weekend with Oldfield Motorsport. The other car is being run by Scott Huntley, the young driver who just passed his driving test very recently. We see McClellan looking to the inside line, having a look, trying to put Jeanson under pressure, but I think Jeanson is having his own battles here, trying to focus on the rear of Jamie Thorburns car to try and make a move. There's an onboard camera with McPherson. He watches on as the back of Jeanson's car starts to try and drift away from him as he starts to charge onto the back of Thorburn. Slightly wider entry for Thorburn, just a couple of cars ahead. Jeanson tries to follow suit. This onboard shot gives you a great chance to see just how much these guys work away at the wheel. So further back in the order, this is the scrap between John Spence, number 35, and then Brendan Lee. Just behind him was his fellow incident mate, shall we say, Jamie Sharp. And they're in close proximity, nose to tail, and they're following the very experienced Belgian John Svensson. Through School Curve and on the sprint towards the Rocket Complex. Now, are either of them going to make a move, or Sharp's looking to the outside line, whilst Brendan Lee tries to sneak up the inside, but Jamie Sharp's trying to force the move here, trying to prise the door open and find the gap on the inside of the second part of Rocket, but there's nothing doing. He has to sit back and try and find another place to try and make a move on Brendan Lee. And Brendan Lee, as we say, has adapted very, very quickly to Formula Ford and circuit racing as a whole. He's currently signed with Mercedes in the New Balance F1 Esports Championship. I'm sure he'll be looking for a 3rd campaign and a 3rd title in 2019, but right now his main concern is trying to get past John Svensson. He's lined him up on the run towards the hairpin, and a very impressive move, diving up the inside, forcing John Svensson to outbrake himself. Not only has Brendan Lee got through, but at the expense of John Svensson, also Jamie Sharp has taken full advantage of the mistake from the Belgian, and up another place goes the former British F4 racer. So up towards the bus stop for the end of another lap, and Jamie Sharp no doubt will try and follow in the wheel tracks of Brendan Lee to try and make up some more places through the order. We're back just a few cars ahead with Michael McPherson. Still hasn't found a way past Aaron Jeanson, and we might try up the inside here into the banking. Still, Jeanson parks that Oldfield Motorsport Van Diemen right in the middle of the road and denies McPherson any chance to get through. bit further back here. It's quite impressive that Brendan Lee, of course, before this season, had never driven or raced anything competitively. He'd only really done something at the Race of Champions and impressed there as one of the drivers in the esports team. Of course, and whilst he's trying to fend off Jamie Sharp, his teammate Michael McPherson finally has found a gap on the inside into the braking zone at Rocket, and through he goes to make up another place. So that's at the expense of McPherson, and climbs another place high in the top 10. And also just behind him, look, that is Tom MacArthur in the white and orange car, number 17. And he's made some great progress in the back of the field. He started back in 16th position, and is now just on the base of the top 10, so he's working hard to try and make up a few more places. Remember, the race 3 will be a random grid draw that reverses the top 6, 7 or 8 cars, depending on which number is drawn. So if Tom MacArthur can get himself in one of those 3 positions, potentially he could find himself in the plum seat to benefit from a reverse grid draw and put himself onto pole position. To do that, he may have to try and pick up a few more cars, the first of which is going to be, by the looks of things, Aaron Jeanson in number 24. Oh, that's Adam Quartermain. He's parked that car rather succinctly on the inside of the bus stop. Just trying to trudge away and looking a little bit embarrassed himself. I'm not sure if he had a spin or some contact. There he is, Adam Quartermain on the left. As, he looks on as the rest of the field goes tearing through. So the problem was for Adam Quartermain. We understand it was simply just a spin which caused him to stall the car. So whether he can try and get going again, or that's his race done and dusted, we'll wait and see in the final classification. Back with Michael McPherson. We now look towards the 2 Cliff Dempsey cars, and they're now going to combat for what is now second place. Ross Martin has sailed up the road in the lead. Now up the inside, diving for second place, goes James Clark onto the apex of the first part of Rocket. Goes a little deep, but he'll have the inside line for the second part. And that now denies Cole Becker a chance to get through, or does it, because he'll try and get the traction on the exit to pull alongside his teammate on the sprint towards Peel. But again, Clark sweeps across and tries to hold the line. And Cole Becker has to slot back in behind his teammate, and he's down to third. Back into the corkscrew once again. Thought about another move, did Cole Becker, trying to look up the inside line. James Clark looking pretty good, and not too far up the road ahead in the lead is Ross Martin. So there is a chance to possibly try and catch him if James Clark feels he's quick enough and can start to drag Cole Becker with him as Cole Becker backs the rear end of the car into the hairpin at the top of the straight. You can tell how hard these guys are pushing. A little bit more brake bias on the rear as they squirm around trying to get them stopped. Ross Martin just flashing through shots at the bottom of the screen there, still in the lead by a handful of seconds as the scrap for second continues on. I'm sure it's great to see the 2 Cliff Dempsey cars in second and third, but once again I'm sure Cliff Dempsey will be a little bit nervous watching these 2 drivers fight fairly but also pretty closely to each other, so hoping they don't make contact. That's the worst thing you want to do in motorsport, which is make contact and take out your teammate. Really slide up through the middle of the corner there for James Clark. Didn't get the power down as smoothly as he wanted to. That might give Cole Becker a chance to retaliate throughout the rest of the lap. Nice clean run through Church Corner, and now the sprint on the back straight. This slightly long curving right-hander of School Curve on the sprint again towards the Rocket Complex, seen at the pass a lap ago. Here's Cole Becker going to try and get him back with a dive up the inside. Not quite, but a big lock up from Clark will certainly help his chances. And again, just tucks in, holds the exact same racing line, trying to force the mistake again from James Clark as he holds on to second place. 2 Cliff Dempsey cars putting on something of a racing demonstration here, nose to tail through the right-hander appeal. Of course, remember, the harder these 2 continue to battle, the more of an advantage that Ross Martin will pull out in the lead. There he is in the distance up the top of the screen in the white Van Diemen, already at the hairpin, as the 2 Cliff Dempsey cars reach half distance under brakes, and again backing in the rear end. Both cars locking up, a lock up with the front from Clark, and the rear end squirming around for Cole Becker, so you can't blame them both for trying. Some great inter-team rivalry here between the 2 of them. Of course, Cole Becker's had a race win so far this year. Clark hasn't. I'm sure that trying to find the dominant one of the 3 cars in the field will certainly be a story throughout the year. It was a very sideways James Clark maintained second place. Here's Michael McPherson. He's now lost the place to Tom MacArthur, who has got past Brendan Lee as well. Look at Brendan Lee up the inside of his teammate, trying to steal the position away from Michael McPherson. Might get a good run off the corner as they run side by side. Kevin Mills having heart palpitations now watching this one, as up the inside goes Brendan Lee, and also going with him, Michael McPherson's left the door wide open, and straight up the inside goes Jamie Sharp, saying thank you very much, I'll follow my mate up the inside if you don't mind. Into the banking they go, and if Michael McPherson's not careful, he might lose yet another place, because look at Jamie Thorburn behind. Aaron Jeanson in the black Oldfield Motorsport Van Diemen's not too far away either. As they head through Church. We are in the closing stages of the race within the last few laps, so any chance to make a move here has to be made now or never. Looking down the outside line to try and retaliate is Michael McPherson. He might try and make a dive into the complex once again. And he comes under braking. Getting anchored up into the top of the hill. And of course, the crest will certainly help with slowing the cars down. So they pitch it into the first part of Rocket. It's a bit of a tricky switchback section. Then this slightly curving, slightly uphill right-hander uphill brings them back towards the international part of the circuit. Back with McPherson staring at the gearbox of Jamie Sharp, who has a big lock up on the inside front as he turns his way through the corkscrew, but using all the curb on the exit to maintain the position. Now once again the sprint towards the hairpin once more. Not as banked as the banking, but certainly quite a tight way to get through the corner as Tom MacArthur makes a mistake, goes deep into the right-hander and just about holds the line and gets in front. Now Tom MacArthur currently holds 6th position, so he's in one of the 3 key places to potentially benefit from a reverse grid draw. As we see now, Ross Martin in fairly dominant fashion here. He's been pretty much untouched this entire race since he got a great start from pole position. Now he'll be looking to make it a 3rd win of the season, but of course he has to get to the flag first. And whilst he does go on to possibly take victory, these two are not finished by any stretch of the margin because they're still battling for 2nd place. Ross Martin brings his way into the complex at Rocket. And this nice 9 Van Diemen certainly seems to be quite a lucky car for somebody, because whenever anyone jumps into it, usually they will win a race in it. Of course, Niall Murray's won 2 championships in that car. James Rowe Jr.'s won races before when he campaigned it in 2017. Then Niall Murray got it back in 2018. At the end of the season, Jamie Sharp was in that car and did very well. Of course, Ross Martin now has won racing, so that's a pretty special chassis. A lot of experience and a lot of race winning and championship winning pedigree. And Ross Martin, it seems to be about to add to that even further as he turns into the hairpin. Up towards the bus stop once more. And really the Cliff Dempsey guys have got to try and go back to the drawing board and try and find something to stop this dominance as he heads down towards the bus stop. Looks as though he is on course for victory. Turns his way through with a left-hander onto the pit straight, up towards the checkered flag, and it is 2 wins out of 2 so far this weekend for Ross Martin in fairly dominant fashion than it was last time, as the 2 Cliff Dempsey cars almost go photo finish together in 2nd and 3rd. And also distant back in 4th place is going to be the rest of the field. Here's the confirmation of the result. Ross Martin wins from Clark in 2nd and Colbeck in 3rd. Neil McLennan from 11th on the grid up to 4th place. What a drive that was. Then David and Tom MacArthur 5th and 6th. Rest of the order down to the bottom of the top 10. And then John Svensson, Morgan Quinn, Monbaron, Huntley, Woods and Quartermain. And the reverse grid draw sees the top 6 reversed. That means Tom MacArthur will start on pole position.
Well, congratulations. You're starting to become the man of the moment this weekend.
Yeah, another good race there, another win, but yeah, hats off to the team. You know, they done a late night last night. I think my mechanic was there till 11, so big hats off to Bernard and Damien for getting the car set up, because I think it showed, I had a really good first lap, a good start off the line, which I've been working on, and it worked. And yeah, it was nice to have a comfortable lead into the first lap, and again, it was just about getting my head down. You know, I think my first 3 laps were a couple of times quicker than the rest of the field, so I wasn't actually getting lap times on my car, but I kind of had the team helping me out, and yeah, just focus on that gap, and as the race went on, it just got bigger and bigger, really.
James, congratulations. You did start 3rd, came 2nd. You've got to be happy.
Yeah. It's sort of the most stable race I think we've had all year, but yeah, I mean, car was good, so I mean, the race chassis and you know, was working well, and everyone from Cliff Dempsey Racing's obviously done a great job, because me and Spike have been 2nd and 3rd in the first 2 races. We just need to get a little bit more pace so we can catch Ross. We'll see, because it's reverse grid for the next one.
Spike, you did start 2nd, came 3rd. Can you quickly talk me through what happened?
Yeah, just working on a few things on the car, but just an okay race. It could have been a little bit better. I got to hit my marks more, but we still got 1 more to go, and hopefully some better points for the next race.